Hello and welcome to another ALTTPR Team League Season number 3 race between the Cool Rush Gamers and OOT Dream Team and Senen here on ALTTPR League Twitch channel. I am Worldwide Wimpy and I am joined by Ben Creighton. How are you doing today, Ben?
Doing wonderful, and it looks like our runners are off to the races. We've got the Cool Rush Gamers versus OOTR Dream Team, Nephistoss and Senen on the right, DaddyGamers and BumRushBlitz on the left.
And we have an early glitch stick, a red cane, that cane of Samaria inside of Sanctuary. We see a little bit of divergence between our runners, two deciding to go with the Uncle Start, and the other two deciding to go check our Lumberjack and Kakariko Village checks.
Yes, indeed. For those of you just joining us for the first time, this is week 1 of season 3 of the Link to the Past Randomizer League. This is the co-op week, meaning the two gamers that you see on the left, as well as the two on the right, are paired up. They're in a Discord call. They're sharing information. They're dividing up checks.
As we get a look inside of the well near our Hyrule Castle look, Uncle not having too much for us today. So it looks like Senen's going to go ahead and do part of the escape sequence with 6 bombs in their pocket. Same thing for the Daddy Gamers. Makes perfect sense. As there's just some arrows and nothing important in the mushroom spot here in the Lost Woods.
And Nephistoss finding some bombs there in Link's house. Gonna make life a little easier as he heads toward the village. A little less farming required in order to get all those checks. Looks like BumRushBlitz opting to head towards the village area with no bombs, trusting to finding some, or at least some rupees to be able to buy some in order to make all those checks. But that's the nice thing about co-op. You can always leave that to your partner if you need to.
Senen having some fun dealing with this blue guard. He tried to kill him with the forklift. Olay! Dancing around that chest. As we get a peek into Blind's hut from BumRushBlitz.
And Senen running short of the required bombs to complete that escape sequence, opting to peace out.
As we have blue mail, a glove, some roops inside of Blind's hut. Just enough to buy bombs for BumRush if he decides that, hey, I haven't found any bombs yet. I'll go just down over here to this vendor and buy some explosions.
Nephistoss having just a few fewer bombs to work, or a few fewer rupees rather to work with, opts to spend a bomb to refill his bombs in the supply shed.
As Daddy Gamers find some powder in the bloomerang chest in the escape sequence. As we get a look as to what's underneath all of that water by emptying the dam. It's just 10 arrows. And a abandoned Zelda cell.
Yes, indeed. And Senen heading left to Agina. Often a check that you see skipped in favor of going towards Moldorm, the much more check-dense location this early in the seed. But in a co-op race, you can afford to go a little more out of your way, be a little more thorough, and it looks like he is checking Desert Ledge as well.
Chicken Hut had our bloomerang inside. The back of the tavern has the blue cane, so we found our 2 canes. As we get a peek inside Kakariko Village as well. So far, just roops. More roops. Explosions. And more explosions.
Daddy Gamers pulling off a Houlihan room, getting some early roops.
And hammers inside Agina's closet in the desert.
That's
now
an
OOT
excellent
Dream
find.
just one item away from Dark World access.
Even in co-op, that's again, it can be a pretty out-of-the-way check that will take some runners a little while to make their way back to. That could be an early advantage for Ocarina Dream Team here.
Oof. Senen opting to use hammer strats against the mini Moldorms, and they're a little hard to smack with that hammer. Unfortunately, takes a death inside of that cave.
Hard to blame him for risking the hammer strats. His only other option was bombs, and with only 2 of those to his name, I can see why he wanted to try to conserve them as much as possible. And he's making the walk back. As we see Nephistoss giving us what I believe is going to be our first look at Backside of Escape.
Is that the hookshot he found in the back of Escape?
It looks to be another nice little find there. Doesn't come in handy quite yet, but having it in the back pocket can definitely make some routing easier later.
And Senen gets through his second attempt through Mini Moldorm Cave. We got 5 checks inside. Ether. A Roop. A plastic shield. 4 explosions. And a $5.
BumRush having an easier time of his Moldorm cave. Ooh, I spoke too soon. That Moldorm is being quite cruel to him. Fortunately, he's got quite a few more bombs and can afford to play it a little more safe, but that Moldorm does not want to cooperate. It finally goes down. And Senen taking another unfortunate death on the way to Ice Rod Cave.
Yeah, those worms like to move in random patterns. Every time they bonk against a wall or a gap, their movement patterns change. Those crabs move in RNG patterns, up, down, left, right. You never know which way they're gonna go.
Senen opting to save and quit out to Sank, grab that red cane. He does have a full magic bar, so that will give him a little more stopping power if he needs it. And BumRush using that heading off into South Shore only has 1 heart. We'll see if we see another unfortunate South Shore death on the way to Moldorm, or rather on the way to Ice Rod Cave.
As the Daddy Gamers heads into Sosford's closet here, maybe even into an Eastern Dip. Now, this is all dungeons, which means everything's going to have to be cleared eventually anyway. As we see, Turtle Rock is our green medallion today, or green pendant, excuse me.
And there's the Moon Pearl in Ice Rod Cave. So between our 2 teams, we have full knowledge of where Dark World access is hiding, but split in such a way that it might be a while before either team gets it. Yeah.
That's gross.
So we're going to have both teams finding Dark World access and thinking, are we way behind at this point? Has the other team had it for 5-10 minutes?
As we do get that Eastern Dip from the Daddy Gamers, and a mountain climb from Nephistoss. Going to see what's in and on Spectacle Rock here on Death Mountain in a moment. And that is a bow on top of Spectacle Rock. Is that going to be our silvers, or is that going to be our first progressive in logic bow? We'll find out eventually.
And meanwhile, if you're rooting for the Cool Rush Gamers, what you're really hoping to see is that other progressive glove in here, in Eastern, giving them that Dark World access after all. There's more than one way to skin a Dark World cat.
As we're going to get a look inside of Paradox Cave. Is it in the center? Is it in the middle? Is it in the top? Is it on the bottom? We don't know.
Senen making his way, trying to figure out what's in Dark Cross. It's a little rough without a lamp to light your way, or even a sword to give yourself the sparkles. But he's being persistent with it. He's pulling out the hook shot, trying to navigate that darkness as best he can.
We have a bee in a bottle. Another bee in a bottle. Piece of heart. And more roots inside a Paradox Cave.
Those are our first two bottles. Could be our progression through Sick Kid. With the way this seed's been rolling so far, it wouldn't surprise me one bit.
Nothing on the floating island on Death Mountain. We're going to get a peek inside of the Tower of Hera here from Nerfus. Nerf. I think I'm just going to call him Toss, because that's the easiest part to pronounce. Good. Dark Map World check. Pendants. Thieves Town, Skull Woods, and our green pendant in Turtle Rock. Everything else is blue crystals in the dark. Very creative there from the Daddy Gamers, and using that red cane block to know where he needs to navigate through the dark rooms in Eastern. Looking for one more item inside of this dungeon.
And the Daddy Gamers runs into something that's definitely tripped me up in the past. Those 4 particular anti-fairies cannot be powdered. And he's opting to use the red cane strats to kill everything in the room, rather than risk the damage boost in order to access that switch, all for a map.
Yep, last item inside of Eastern Palace is locked behind the Armos. As it looks like we're going to be getting a Herapot here from the top right in Nerf. It does not succeed. It looks like he's going to consider maybe trying again. Or at least leaving. With no fire source, you can't get the big key in the basement, which is where it's at currently.
Yep, and he was out of bombs, so he would have had to go harvest them someplace in order to continue with that particular route.
There is a bomb in that first floor with the beetle helmets that you can take a bomb from, but elects to say, I'd rather not do this out of logic.
Yeah, that's a bit out of one's way to go for checks that are out of logic in any case.
As we're going to get a check-in on the sick child in Kakariko. He's going to see 2 bees in a bottle, or at least in 2 separate bottles, and is going to give us a reward. That does mean that Nerf Orphan Spiral Cave up on the mountain, which we're going to be getting a look at momentarily from BumRush.
Now, this entire mountain play was out of logic with no lamp and no flute. At what point does the dream team say, okay, this sucks, but you gotta do what you gotta do. Let's make our way to that last in-logic check in the Ice Rod Cave.
As Nerf is heading back into Hyrule Castle. Is he going to check Darkross here? Again? I don't think either team was able to get the chest in Darkross.
Well, I don't think the Dream Team has been all the way down to Zelda's cell yet, either.
And I think that's where the map was. I think that's where the powder is as well.
But meanwhile, BumRushBlitz heading to Agina's cave, about to unlock Dark World access for the Cool Rush gamers. This could be big. That's that early advantage that you want.
Alright, one of our fabulous trackers has confirmed that Senen did get Darkross. Wasn't anything important, as we're going to get a look into Zora here from TheDaddyGamers. Just to remind you folks that as we're kind of looking at longer checks and rechecks here, you can follow all of our runners by hitting the !R command in the chat. It'll give you links to every and each one of our runners' Twitch channels. You can do the same thing for your commentating and tracker team as well by hitting !C. Go ahead and give everyone a nice follow. As it looks like Nightbot is kind of broken at the moment. As we see a piece of heart here on the Zora ledge, we're going to get a friendly fish-faced friend as well. With 500 rupees, you can pay him that cash and get an item. Most of the time, it's just a life lesson, but perhaps today it could be a bow, maybe a mirror, maybe even boots.
At this point, I think any of these runners would be happy with a sword. BumRushBlitz heading the long way around to the village Dark World portal. He's going to be dealing with a 6-heart swordless Dark World. That's not the most comfortable position, as TheDaddyGamers finds just a partial refund on Zora, and Senen about to grab the Moon Pearl and Dark World access for the Dream Team.
As we see Nerf sprinkle some powder on that sacrificial bat and just find some cash for all of his hard work. So we get our first look inside of Dark Kakariko Village, the Village of Outcasts. We have a chess game, the brewery, and a C-shaped house to look in at. As we find a mirror inside of that chess game. Gonna make routing Dark World checks a little bit easier.
BumRushBlitz is hoping to find a sword, a second mail upgrade, something to make his life a little easier.
And a single arrow of destiny inside of that brewery in the Village of Outcasts. Let's see if BumRush is brave enough to use hammer strats on blind, or if we are just going to be doing the first 4 with that mirror. Blue cane is an option for blind, but at the moment, BumRush does not have enough magic to do that. And there are no magic refills in Thieves Town. There's one small pot near blind, but that's not enough to do a full 3-cycle blind with blue cane.
At that point, the more magic-efficient strat would be red cane. But that's no walk in the park either.
We're gonna look in on Hype Cave from Nerf. A heart, piece of heart, explosions, a book, and 50 more dollar dues.
Meanwhile, Senen poking his head into Skullwoods. This is one of those locations where it took statistical analysis of the algorithm to determine it is slightly more likely to have progression than would seem warranted, considering there are only 2 checks to be found in there. That does make it a popular dungeon dip location, even when, as is the case right now, it is not full clearable.
When the only hard access is the boss and a chest because of Fire Rod, everything else is accessible as soon as you get Dark World access over to the left-hand side. Likes to have that density right there in front. We're going to get a peek in at Dig Game from Nerf. And as we get a Heckway over here on Bumrush's side. That Fire Snake being none too kind.
Ooh, some beautiful jukes around the anti-fairy. BumRush does have blue mail, so his situation is not quite as dire as it maybe looks, but still can't be feeling great. Especially running into this cricket hallway. These guys hit like trucks. And BumRush has taken no chances.
Yeah, that hookshot kills him with 1 shot. Hammer does as well. As Nerf just found some explosions on the Dig Game.
And BumRush finding flippers in Thieves' Town attic. That will put a couple more overworld checks into logic, but I believe that also opens up Swamp Palace.
Yeah, with that mirror, hookshot, and hammer, that is a full clearable Swamp Palace.
Yep, 6 checks, and there's the lamp in the button chest of Skullwoods.
Now our runners have at least a fire source of some sort.
That does put Tower of Hera all the way into logic.
Along with all of those mountain checks that they did out of logic.
Indeed, although I don't know that we found much value there to be worried about. Although combined with the mirror, the bow was on Spectacle Rock, didn't you say?
Yes.
Okay.
That opens up the rest of Eastern. That opens up...
That opens up Odd.
So that mirror and lamp are our progression here to continue forward with the seed. Because it looks like BumRush is going to go ahead and try and attempt a hammer blind with a little bit of magic. Give him a little bit of luck with that blue cane, maybe even red cane strats.
My eyes are glued to the lower left. This is not the easiest blind fight. BumRush pulling out that red cane.
Oh, and blind canceled out that block when it moved. Oof, that hurts. Everything in this fight for BumRush does the same amount of damage with that blue mail. Had plenty of hearts entering in and is able to take down blind with that red cane and hammer. Gets a compass as a reward, but more importantly, gets a dungeon prize, that red pendant, in our first dungeon clear of this very close and linear seed so far.
Yes, indeed. It's been linear up until this point, but with that bow attainable and with those flippers in play, things are opening up much more than we've seen up until this point. We might be seeing a little more routing divergence from here on as soon as Nephistoss discovers those flippers later on in Thieves' Town.
So it looks like Senen's heading back up the mountain to go ahead and get that bow, finish out Hera.
And still nary a sword to be seen. So execution's gonna continue to be important here.
Same thing with the Daddy Gamers. Now, unfortunately, Daddy Gamers does not have the lamp, so if they are unable to use that Hera pot, they're going to have to orphan Hera completely. Though I do believe he does know how to clip into that pot and hookshot his way into it to fall to the top of Tower of Hera.
Of course, with and Senen taking an unfortunate death from some cabbages. But I was about to say, as always, the danger when bypassing that big key requirement in Hera is if there is something in that Hera big chest, you're leaving that behind for potentially quite a while.
Yeah, until you decide you want to do Dark Death Mountain or Spike Cave or it's your last location. What is Senen looking for? Oh, is he looking for a bomb?
He wants bombs. He wants the option of Hera potting.
There is a much safer way to get a bomb. The Beetle Room. Risking dead rocks and cabbages falling on you to get one singular bomb. That's a brave strat.
Well, there's also the matter of how confident is he in his ability to do that first try. He probably wants as many bombs as he can reasonably get. And speaking of that bomb setup, the Daddy Gamers using a setup that you don't see quite as often. It does involve 2 bombs to get into position. It is a little bit safer, and he does make it first try. As long as you have the bombs to spend, it's not a bad option if you know it. Does lose you an extra heart, but that doesn't matter because you're about to head into a fairy room in any case.
Gonna get new checks here in the Tower of Hera.
And we have a flute!
Nice.
And not hidden behind that fire-locked big key.
Yeah, the important thing is, does our Moldorm have an item? If it doesn't, we know it's locked behind the big chest. And Senen is the only one currently available to go ahead and check that for us.
Meanwhile, BumRushBlitz giving us our first look at some of these flipper checks.
And a very nice blind fight here from Nerf in the top right. Using that blue cane to its fullest, along with ending with hammer smacks on our ghostly friend.
And Daddy Gamers using hammer strats to take down the Moldorm worm, coming away with only a map. I have not been...
That means there's an item in the big chest.
Is there? We've seen the compass then?
Yep. Pretty sure we saw the compass because the small key was down in the first room of Hera, and the compass was in the chest near Hera Pot.
So at that point, the Cool Rush Gamers have a decision to make. Does BumRushBlitz put off Hera and his flute, and for how long, in hopes of getting that lamp and being able to collect that fire-locked item?
Saw in the Waterfall Fairy in Zora's Domain a cape. So that could unlock something in Bumper. Though I do believe it was 3 bombs inside of Bumper Cave. It looks like Nerf is heading into Swamp Palace with those flippers, hammer, hookshot. Along with BumRushBlitz. As we get a magical, majestical space duck call from the flute inside of Kakariko Village. Senen elects to not do the basement check. I may be off on my items, but I swear we found the compass in that small chest.
I'm taking your word for it. I did not notice. And in answer to a question in chat, the bow was on Spectacle Rock, on top of Spectacle Rock.
Looks like Daddy Gamers is going to be heading into Pod. More than likely going to be looping in an Eastern Palace clear as well. We know there's one more item inside of Eastern on the Armos. Literally no better time to go ahead and complete both of them as we find our first S-word, our sword, in the second chest of Swamp Palace.
And it looks like the Dream Team pulling ahead into a slight dungeon lead at this point with... No, I take that back. We are actually neck and neck dungeon-wise, 2-2 in this very close race.
We get our first look inside of our Palace of Darkness on the east side of Dark World. Daddy Gamers is going to get the first chest here in the switch room. Were we Bola? No, we weren't. So our runners could have come into Palace of Darkness and made a little bit of progression without having to check right side or being locked behind any doors. Having that bow is nice and easy. You're going to be able to clear the dungeon lickety-split. Piece of heart in the second chest of pod. We do have at most 2 non-small keys in the front of pod. Another small key. So we're looking for map, compass, big key, or an item over here on the right-hand side.
And Nerf Buddy, you gotta flood that passage before you can dive her down into it.
One can dream. One can dream.
Unless there's some new tech that I haven't learned about yet. BumRushBlitz, on the other hand, pulling off the tech that I've come to know and love, dropping a bomb for some delayed reaction, and pulling out that red cane for the diver down glitch that has made left side swamp just so much nicer.
Another small key right-hand side. And the big key, those are our 2 items in the front of pod. Our big key chest is another small key, which you can go ahead and just leave alone. You do not need to go get it. Get a look on left side swamp from BumRushBlitz here. Gonna see probably a hammer jump as well on the top left, as Bombos is on the left side chest of left side swamp. And a vanilla big key for Swamp Palace. I did not realize this. The Daddy Gamers did not go ahead and pick up the lamp from Skullwoods. It's a little bit out of the way. Gonna have to navigate these rooms in the dark. These front ones are a little bit easier. The hard one's going to be that turtle room leading into Helmasaur if he elects to go ahead and break it out of sequence.
I wouldn't be surprised to at least see an attempt, although that dark turtle room is very rough without a fire rod, without even a sword, without a medallion to try and take care of those turtles. That might wind up being a bit of a time sink if Daddy Gamers isn't very confident in his darkroom strats.
As we get our second diver down and finding Titan's Mitts in the flooded room of Swamp Palace.
That is a huge find. That's going to open up Ice Palace. That's going to potentially open up Turtle Rock. Potentially opening up Mire, certainly the Mire area.
So we're watching Daddy Gamers, not so much watching as just observing his navigation through the dark maze. There are 2 checks here and access to the big chest. You could make your life a little bit easier with a hammer jump, get the big chest, and then work your way back and around. Either way, in the dark, this is no fun at all. Finds a map in the bottom right, so he's only 1 check away from going ahead and saying, "Yep, I'm done with everything here in pod except for the boss."
And witness just how much quicker and easier this room is for Senen in the lower right with that lamp, as we have near simultaneous Argus fights from BumRushBlitz and Nephistoss. But BumRush has the advantage of that fighter sword, whereas Nerfus is having to deal with a slideshow.
Yeah, what's weird is Argus is one of the bosses where sword levels does not matter. A fighter sword spin with a hook shot will kill a popcorn in 1 action.
Yes, indeed. That sword level doesn't come into play until you get tempered and the ability to kill those puffballs with only 1 slash.
Yes, it does take a double spin with fighter sword cool pop-up, but if you hold out a spin and hook shot one of the puffs that surround him, you can let go of that spin as that piece of puff comes at you and you kill it no problem.
Yeah, those double spins are essentially free. They take 0 extra effort.
I prefer Fighter Sword over Master Sword because it's just, you know what you're going to be doing with Fighter Sword.
And Daddy Gamers is heading into their Dark Turtle room. They are making the attempt. I think you have to at least try, but this is not something that I'd be super confident at.
It would be almost better if you kind of timed out your hammers, if you kind of did it as you would do normally. You know, walk down, hammer, then pop that blue can and just walk around the room and kill as many turtles as you can.
And if I'm counting right, Daddy Gamers is down to just 1 turtle, and this is where it gets tough. He's hammering around in the dark.
There you go, he found him.
Beautiful.
As it looks like BumRush is heading up the mountain to go ahead and check this tablet. It'll be interesting to see if he pops his head back into Hera. Yep, as I thought. He's going to be going to clear Hera to get that red crystal. We'll see if my assumption, I swear to you, that compass is in that small chest. Yep, there's an item
correct.
in the big chest. Okay.
And at this point, we've got dueling Helma fights in the upper left and lower right. We've had some pretty good sync between our racers here thus far. Nerfus's toss just a couple of screens behind BumRush, taking a detour to check out the tablet before heading into Hera.
As we see, very nice bow strats to end phase 2 of Helmasaur. 8 arrows is all you need. Our runner's able to shoot those off and take down that evil dinosaur lizard guy thing. Now, I would bet our second runners into Hera are going to go ahead and decide that maybe the basement's a good idea to go ahead and get that big key and check to see what the chest is.
Well, the thing is, neither of them have the option. No fire source on either side.
Oof, that's rough. That is super rough. So both of our teams electing to go ahead and say, yeah, that big key chest is probably nothing. As we get Senen and DaddyGamers going through Eastern Palace, no shock here. One more item to find in Eastern, it is on the Armos. As DaddyGamers having a little bit of a rough time with this staff host here. Senen's gonna have the fortune of having that lamp out, gonna be able to see in this dark room. DaddyGamers is gonna have to navigate blindly, no sword sparkles, gonna have to guess where they're moving very, very tightly. They did well in that turtle room, so I have every confidence that they're gonna be able to navigate this eastern dark room. Oof, and bad worm RNG. That's okay, gets that Igor down, gets that small key, he's gonna head up and into the back of Eastern.
Meanwhile, Nerfus deciding to forego Tower of Hera for the moment in favor of some Dark Death Mountain. I like this play. If he should happen to find Fire Rod, that's when he can decide, is it going to be worth checking that tile room?
So we get a look inside of Hookshot Cave. We have ourselves our Fire Shield, a red rupee, another red rupee, and some explosions. Now, Bombos was our Turtle Rock access, so our two runners on Dark Death Mountain go ahead and open that up as we find just a rupee on the Armos. Progression was not through Eastern. There is a Titan's Mitt somewhere in pod for our runners. Oh no, that was in Swamp. Excuse me. Titan's Mitt is in Swamps. Pod? Nothing so far. As Senen goes back into pod.
Meanwhile, BumRush spending a little bit of extra time to pick up that half-magic convenience item on the floating island. With how low percent, even for a co-op seed, this one has been. With how often resource management has made the difference. I like the play.
There's nothing inside of Super Bunny Cave. It looks like Nerf is going to go ahead and try their luck over in Spike Cave. Perhaps mirror back into Hera for another attempt.
And he's looking into his bottles, Nerfus is, and I think he's decided, I'm not sure if Spike Cave is even theoretically clearable with only one heart and not even a full magic bar.
Yeah, if he went and got that half magic, he could go through Spike Cave no problem. Which is why
that's fair.
Weird that BumRush didn't do the same.
BumRush opting instead to head down the mountain and turn in his flute. That'll open up Mire area.
As we just see some bombs on the pyramid. Nerf taking the long walk over to Eastern and Pod, it looks like. As the DaddyGamers heads into Thieves Town. Very interesting here, BumRush. It looks like he's going to be heading into... Oh, nope, fluting away.
Oh, he wants his safeties before he heads towards that ice palace, and I don't blame him.
This is an interesting call. None of our runners have gone into Desert Palace. That is our second red crystal. We do have access into Desert Palace with the mirror and Titan's Bits with the flute from Mire area. There he goes. Okay.
Meanwhile, Senen heading towards Catfish. I don't know that I like this play, considering that he does not have the flippers. Although no, never mind. Nerfus has already made those checks, so he knows they're not needed.
As we see, the Ether Medallion was necessary for Meyer. We have ourselves Vanilla Medallion for Meyer access. As we just find Red Mail inside of Meyer's shed. Now, although BumRush and DaddyGamers do not have a fire source, it's good to check Desert just in case, one, it's boots locked, because then you have the knowledge, hey, I actually need the boots. And then you're able to at least get one item, hopefully, out of Desert.
And I was wrong. Apparently, Dream Team has not checked the flipper checks yet. Senen using Splash Deletion to complete those.
Very nicely done to use that Splash Deletion and or Ancilla clip, if you want to call it that, picking up the cape from the fairy fountain.
Getting it on his last try. He had just run out of bombs.
It seems as though Senen likes to not have explosions.
Unfortunately, we knew that he was not going to need to splash delete again to get onto that ledge. That must be a sigh of relief for him, as BumRush gives us, I believe, our first look into Desert Palace.
Absolutely. Let's see what's in this compass chest here. It is the small key, so he's going to be able to go right. I did not see if he checked the torch to see if that was big key or not.
Chat informing us that it is not boots locked. However, the rest of the dungeon is, of course, fire locked.
Yep, and our only fire source so far has been in the middle of Skullwoods.
But there's the boots.
Torch was $20. Well, then why is he getting the big chest? Might have miscounted his items.
Happens to the best of us. You get so excited about finding those boots, your mind is already 2 steps ahead, and you're just full clearing the dungeon on muscle memory.
Looks like BumRush is going to hit the Dark World and check North Dark World here. Maybe loop in a Skullwoods check as we see DaddyGamers take down Blind. As we see Nerf going ahead and getting that big key in Hera. As BumRush is going to be hitting North Dark World, probably going to be doing Smith Chain with those Titans Mirror. No reason not to at this point. As yes, I was correct in my remembering. Just some bombs on Bumper Cave. We're gonna get Bonk Rocks, we're gonna get Kingston, we're gonna get Graveyard Ledge. More than likely, look into the Smith Chain. Just a piece of heart in Bonk Rocks, as we see Nerf go ahead and make their climb back up Hera. As it looks like DaddyGamers is heading into Swamp Palace to get that Titan's Mitt. And to get Bombos on the left-hand side.
So what are we searching for at this point? We need a fire rod.
We need both rods.
Fire Rod could be in GT with Skullwoods and Turtle Rock.
Yeah, both rods
pendants.
could be there. Otherwise, that's it. Sword upgrade, of course, for Master Sword, killing Ganon, you need that. But that's it. We can find 3 swords and our rods in GT in this seed.
And there's the Master Sword. That was that mysterious item hiding in the big chest
Ooh.
of Hera. That fire-locked big chest.
As Graveyard Ledge and King's Tomb net nothing for BumRushBlitz. That Master Sword's going to be a while. Hopefully, for Cool Rush gamers, are able to find another sword upgrade somewhere.
That's one of those finds for the Dream Team that could either be huge or a big old nothing burger if one of the other sword upgrades winds up being right along this seed's critical path.
But if that's the case, they're going to end up with Tempered, which is pretty nice to have, too.
True enough.
As we get a peek inside of Ice Palace, as we see Senen and TheDaddyGamers completing dungeons we've already seen. Remember, you can give a follow to all of our runners here competing with the !R command in chat that will bring up through our fabulous Nightbot, our runners' Twitch streams. You can do the same thing for your commentating and your tracking teams. Just hit !C and you will get access to all of our Twitch links, except for mine. I am not Old Man Sunshine, I am worldwide_Wimpy. Please go ahead and give any and everyone a follow. We love doing randomizer. I know Ben and myself run on the ladder. I know TheDaddyGamers does. I know BumRush does. So make sure you check out all of our Twitch channels if you love watching randomizer. We all play all of the time. That's right. Don't forget our restream team with Math Girl as well. She is putting in work this season with all the restreams.
Yes, indeed. When we say restream team, we mean she is virtually the entire restream team, at least on the open side of the league.
She is at least 7 people worth of work. As we get an icebreaker here from BumRush, finding a small key in the vanilla big chest of Ice Palace. Full heart container in this Switch H room in Ice as well, as we see TheDaddyGamers catch up with their Bombos medallion, necessary for Turtle Rock. And a blind fight down for Senen. We find the Quake medallion, which is absolutely worth this for us in the seed. Inside the hookshot chest here, in the U room of Ice Palace.
That blind fight, evening up our dungeon counts between these two teams. The Cool Rush Gamers with about a half dungeon lead, whereas the Dream Team has a just ever so slight item lead with that Master Sword, making this an incredibly even match.
As we see a nice bomb jump here from BumRush to get over toward the long ice room. Gonna be heading down with that small key to check out what's in Iced Tea Room. Just the map. We've got the big chest and our cold stare fight just ahead of us. As we see Senen going ahead through and doing Graveyard Ledge. Boots for the vanilla big key chest in Desert.
Yes, indeed. Which, come to think of it, is a nice little advantage for the Cool Rush Gamers. So, really, this match is still pretty neck and neck.
As Nerf heads into his Ice Palace. Gonna have an equipment advantage with that Master Sword versus trying to spin Fighter Sword or hammer Cold Stare. Cold Stare hugs hurt, even in Red Mail.
Senen heading into their Swamp Palace, hoping to grab those Titans and open up a few more checks. Very, very similar routing between these two teams so far. Heading into Ice Palace before Mire. Both of these two runners tackling their Swamp Palace at nearly the same time. Daddy Gamer's about a dungeon ahead of Senen there, as Senen takes a bit of a detour to check out Hype Cave.
Yeah, I'm surprised that Nerf didn't go ahead and check out Desert, being the second red crystal and having a fire source that is an easier completable dungeon. Yes, it may be boots locked, but then if it's boots locked, you just go, well, I need the boots. As BumRush is dealing with those hammer strats, icicles falling, two eye boys moving across the room. Gotta get up close and personal with that hammer.
Math Girl making a very good point, which is that the Cool Rush Gamers still need to find a fire source.
Yes, I was talking about Nerf and Senen. They have both their lamps. So it's unusual that Nerf would say, I'm forgoing a minor area check and a desert dip for an Ice Palace clear. Nothing wrong with it, it's just a little unusual. You would prioritize doing the harder check with less items than going ahead and just getting a little bit of information in with a dip.
Absolutely. That's a play that makes a lot more sense on the Cool Rush Gamers side, since they can't clear Mire quite yet. They did, however, find their Master Sword on Cold Stare.
Nice, so that means Nerf's gonna get his Tempered Sword off of Cold Stare. So Senen and Nerf are going to have an advantage with items if Senen decides he wants to get that big chest in Hera. I'm sure he's hoping, let's hope there's a fourth sword somewhere once Nerf discovers that Cold Stare has another sharp object on him.
It's even facing a potential Master Sword Silverless Ganon fight. It's tough to justify heading all the way back through Tile Room just for a sword upgrade.
As we get a first look at Smith Chain from BumRush, he's got Jeremiah. He is a bullfrog, but he's soon going to be a good friend of ours.
And unless this Smith Chain contains Ice Rod or Fire Rod, it's looking like it's going to be a bit of a time sink for the Cool Rush Gamers.
Lamp is in the middle section of Skullwoods.
Yes,
the
indeed.
vanilla big key chest.
The lamp usually being one of those items that's skippable with enough experience darkrooming, but in this particular seed, as the only fire source, and with the fire rod possible to be found very late, that's looking like that might be a bit of a difference maker in this otherwise very close race.
Yeah, we've seen just about everything in the overworld except for our purple chest here and the tablet in Desert. Otherwise, it's looking like our rods are going to be in GT.
Meanwhile, the Daddy Gamers heading into Desert, picking up their own boots. I'm calling the Cool Rush Gamers maybe slightly behind at this point, but those boots could be a difference maker too, depending on how long it takes the Dream Team to get into that desert.
Yeah, it's only a matter of time before Cool Rush Gamers find that lamp in Skullwoods. The only advantage here for Senen and Nerf is that they already have it, so they'll be able to pick up their boots, complete Desert in one go, versus a Desert dip for our Cool Rush Gamer. Looks like BumRush is going to be trying, the only other thing I can think of that we haven't seen is Spike Cave. We have not seen that yet. You also do have an option of dipping Turtle Rock, but without a fire rod, that's a hard dip to make. We also do have Pyramid Fairy to look at as well. It looks as though DaddyGamers... Did he pick up the lamp in Skullwoods?
He certainly seems to think he's going to be able to get to those Lambos, so unless all of us miss that, my eyes are glued to the top left side of the screen.
Yeah, no fire source. He's going to have to leave.
Yep, and he realizes it and pieces out. Our 2C+, plus, our eagle-eyed tracker confirms no lamp on the left-hand side here.
As we're getting a desert clear here from Nerf. He's going to find those boots. Clear out desert, get that second red crystal.
And the DaddyGamers heading into Skullwoods, about to find that lamp, and heave a big sigh of relief. At this point, the Dream Team is in full dungeon clear mode. Let's just knock out those crystals and get to GT. Probably go ahead and send somebody to Pyramid Fairy, just in case that can save them a climb up the mountain.
Yeah, more than likely they'll send somebody to Pyramid Fairy and maybe even do a Spike Cave peer in just in case. They'll have GT access once they clear all the crystal dungeons, which they have access to do. Fire Rod is not necessary to get GT access, nor is Ice Rod necessary for GT access.
As the Fire Rod is logically required for the 4 checks on the right side of GT, although that's reachable with a lamp and some relatively easy bomb jumps. Whereas Ice Rod could be absolutely anywhere except for on Trinex.
If I was OT and now Cool Rush Gamers with that lamp, I am prioritizing GT all of the way after Pyramid Fairy and maybe Spike Cave.
The Cool Rush Gamers have just found their lamp, both of them in Skullwoods. That's typically a bad sign in a co-op seed when you have checked everything else so thoroughly that you're starting to overlap checks between your two runners.
As Nerf finds his red mail inside of the Meyer shed, more than likely we're going to go ahead and see Meyer cleared out by Nerf. He's got the medallion, he's got Red Cane. No, he doesn't have Ether. He needs to go get Ether from Meyer. I'm trying to remember where Ether was.
I do not recall.
Mini Moldorm, that's right. That was an early medallion.
Well, fortunately, Nerfus knows where to go.
as they're kind of bottlenecked right now over on the right-hand side, much similarly to DaddyGamers and BumRush being bottlenecked into finding that lamp in the middle of Skullwoods. With this mini Moldorm Cave, nice and easy for Nerf. He's got Tempered Sword, he's got beams, he's just gonna get this left chest and just gonna go ahead and head over to Mire.
BumRushBlitz giving us our first look into Mire. Senen going to be close behind him after knocking out Desert.
And I'm sure Nerf is not going to be far behind either.
He just needs to grab his flute first.
I think he already has flute. He did Desert, unless he entered in with book, which... he's got Hera complete, so he should have his flute.
Okay, tracker confirms Nerfus does in fact have his flute. Meanwhile, DaddyGamers gonna go ahead and dip Turtle Rock. Or maybe he's just opening it.
Yeah, he might be opening it to go ahead and go into Spike. A dip here isn't actually the worst thing. If you happen to find Fire Rod and your Ice Rod is over on the right-hand side, that's not a bad thing to do. Your teammate is going through and clearing out Mire. You're probably going to prioritize him going and doing GT first at this point. As Nerf's going to go ahead and do some cleanup doing Eastern and Pod. So that way, when they're done with Mire, they can just go right up to GT as well. There's our first item in Mire. It's Red Roots. Unfortunately, with no Fire Rod, we're going to have to cancel out our spooky glitch in Mire. DaddyGamers is going to have to hope for a small key here in Chain Chomp Room to make any more progression. He elects not to do the Chain Chomp chest, even though he was right there. Interesting call.
Decides to change his mind and looks like he's going in search of his half magic.
You can do spooky without Fire Rod if this was a quote unquote Godmire. If you found the big key and our runners decided not to look for any more items or leave it for their partner, you can use Red Boomerang if you have it. You can use a whole bunch of different stuff to get that sparkle and put down a red block. Just unfortunately, we don't have Red Boomerang. We don't have Ice Rod. So spooky, out of the question no matter what. Senen clears out Desert Palace. Takes care of those those Lamb Mullins. It looks as though BumRush is going to have to go right side to look in the small chest and big chest for another item. If you do not need to light torches on the left-hand side of Mire, you do not need Fire Rod for spooky. You can use Ice Rod, you can use Silver Arrows, you can use Red Boomerang.
Well, you do need Fire Rod in order to activate the switches, which is what Spooky's all about.
Yes.
That's where the splash damage comes from. So sure, you can set up Spooky and maintain Spooky with any number of items, but without the Fire Rod, what are you even doing? BumRushBlitz heading towards that Vitreous fight. I know we found one of the items. I haven't been paying attention to if he found the other item here in Mire.
Not so far. I think the other item's going to be on Vitreous. We found rupees in that switch chest in the arena. And I don't think there was anything in the big chest as well, because the big key was in the right-hand chest, near the big chest. So it looks as though our right-hand team, OOTR Dream Team, and Senen are going to be the first ones kind of going into GT looking for those rods, if it isn't here on Vitreous or in Spike Cave.
And they do seem to still have a slight dungeon lead by my count. 11 completed versus soon to be 10 on the left-hand side, just as soon as BumRush gets done with this Vitreous fight. Pulling out that cape, using that half magic, and Master Sword slashes are slow, but it's doable.
Yep. As Nerf has a distinct advantage having the Tempered Sword in his hands. So he's going to be bolting through a lot of these dungeons as quickly as possible. I would imagine he's heading to Mire next, after he's done with Pod. As we find a mushroom on Vitreous, maybe the witches will have some sort of magical wand of ice or fire.
Senen heading towards his cold stare fight with the TheDaddyGamers just about a screen ahead of him. Both of them will be picking up their Master Sword and potentially the last sword they'll see this seed.
So we're going to have dueling cold stare fights here. Oof. TheDaddyGamers tried to time that hammer smack to push all the cold stare bubble eye thingies, whatever they are, into the corner for more hammer smacks. Senen holding out his sword. That sword's not going to do any damage, but he can get a lot closer and smack with a hammer.
Fortunately for our runners, they both do have red mail and quite a few hearts, so this is not quite as deadly as a cold stare fight often is, but with only fighter sword and hammer, it is slow.
Senen's got to be careful. He's only got 2 hearts left. That is not enough to survive another hug from cold stare. He does get 1 eye down. That's going to make this... Oof!
Ooh, you hate to see it. Meanwhile, the TheDaddyGamers, using the slow but safe hammer strats, if you hug that top wall, those icicles falling from the ceiling will never hit you, but he's taken a lot of hugs from those eyeballs.
Those eyeballs are super aggressive today. Trying to use Blue Cane to buy himself some time, maybe a few hearts. Oof!
Ooh, but it was not to be. And at this point, both of these runners are likely feeling at least a little bit behind. Both of these teams having near last location their various Dark World accesses through shenanigans. The TheDaddyGamers opting to peace out and fill up his safeties. Senen says, "Nope, I'm going back in. I can do this. Put me back in, coach."
Yeah, and unfortunately for the Cool Rush Gamers, Nerf is hitting his Helmosaur fight. He'll be going into Mire relatively soon. He has Tempered Sword. He has boots. He's only got one more crystal left to do after Helmasaur to go up to GT. BumRush is electing to turn in the big red bomb. Smart play here. You're ahead of your teammate. Might as well go peek this in. You are just Eastern and Pod away from GT access. You're just going to go ahead and just beat those dungeons when you're done.
And Senen has found himself in a rough spot. He does not have the key to open up that door for the magic refill, nor does he have enough magic to knock Cold Stare out of his shell, so he's having to back out and go in search of a key.
Would you have had enough of the 2 small pots after the hammer in the next room for Bombos?
I could be wrong, but I don't believe that gives quite enough for a Bombos. At least not without half magic.
As it looks as though Pyramid Fairy gives us a big old nothing. So, BumRush is going to be heading to Eastern and Pod here. Going to get his last 2 crystals.
Plumeria Knight in chat brings up a good point, which is that he was not even able to get to those magic refills. Those are locked behind a door that he would have needed to use Red Cane to get to.
Where's his key he's missing? Because we know Cold Stare drops an item, so there's a small key in here somewhere. It's in the big chest. The key he needs is in the big chest. I was able to find a small magic in that long ice room. Gonna be able to do his Cold Stare fight here. Once again, DaddyGamers electing to go get the map out of Ice-T. He might be looking for... I think there was a piece of heart in here. If he's got 3 heart pieces, he could get another heart. As Cold Stare 2, Cold Arena Boogaloo. With that hammer, that's a little bit of a better stack. My boy's being aggressive. Ooh, an icicle knocks him, pushes him down, but luckily you get iframes after taking a hit, so that Cold Stare hug not doing any damage. Senen might elect to go ahead and just spin this to win. It's a lot safer, albeit slower. You can at least give yourself a little bit of distance, maybe get an eyeball in the corner, get a double spin off. Maybe give yourself a little bit of space with those eyeballs. As one is down.
Juke's down there. He has come within a hair's breadth of taking a hug so many times in a row at this point. Oh, he's so
you got
close.
one more. Just play it safe. There we go.
And Cold Stare goes down.
He's gonna be so happy he's got a Master Sword off of that. As Nerf is going through his Misery Mire, he's gonna find a mushroom and a red rupees as his items inside of Misery Mire.
I've been so laser focused on Senen, I have not been paying proper attention to the DaddyGamers. It looks like he is just now heading back into Ice Palace for his own Cold Stare rematch.
I think he was already in. He either accidentally mirrored or took a death somewhere. Because he checked Ice-T. I don't know why. sure his partner let him know, hey, your second item, your third item are here, here, and here. So he may have been looking for that piece of heart that was inside of Ice Palace. It's very likely that both rods, at least one of the rods, is in GT. We did see a Turtle Rock dip, but the Daddy Gamers pieced out before checking Chain Chomp. So you got the first chest left side, no Fire Rod, which means you can't do the right-hand side, but you can get the Chain Chomp chest. And he elected to say, nah, I'll leave it for later. It's probably nothing. We also have Spike Cave left to check, but that's it. It's Spike Cave, Turtle Rock Dip, GT are the only things we have yet to see.
And I'm not super well versed in my Turtle Rock key logic. I'm not sure how possible it is for progression to be behind that Chain Chomp room. If Fire Rod is not in logic.
He did get a small key, so he's able to get the Chain Chomp. Chain Chomp can have another small key. So he went into Chain Chomp and left. There's no reason not to check it since you're there. Because if it's a small key, you can get in deeper. If it's an item, you know, and it's not Fire Rod, you know where the Fire Rod's at then. That's why it was weird that he left when he did. And Senen just gets that big key. He decides to mirror instead of just going up.
Meanwhile, Nephistoss heading into his his Vitreous fight, rather, should be quite a bit easier with Red Mail and Tempered Sword to his name.
Yep, as Daddy Gamers, on his second attempt at Cold Stare, takes him down with relative ease with that hammer, and Fighter Sword gets that upgrade to his sword. Unfortunately for the Cool Rush Gamers, Nerf has that tempered, and he knows where that sword upgrade is. He may tell Senen, hey, you're going to activate GT. You might want to go get that if we don't find another sword here soon. And if both rods are in GT, which it's looking like it is, if Ice Rod's not in GT and it's in Skullwoods, because we still haven't found our second item in Skullwoods, you're gonna have to make a mountain climb again anyway. As Nerf is the first to get 7 crystals, we'll see where he's gonna go. If he flutes up the mountain and decides to go right, we're gonna open up the GT Big Key guessing game.
Looks like he's taking a detour to fill up his safeties regardless. Oh, and go ahead and turn in that mushroom. Meanwhile, Senen tossing some bombs to soften up those eyeballs.
Senen also did pick up an arrow upgrade, so he has more than 30 arrows. If he wants to, after he's done with bombs, he can unleash the fury of the bow onto those eyeballs. And he elects that, I'm just going to use Cape and kill the rest with this Master Sword. Nerf is doing Smith Chain. Now, right-hand side team, OTR, Dream Team, and Senen have yet to do Smith Chain, so this makes a lot of sense. But he's got GT wide open. That's minus the 4 on the right-hand side. That's 18 checks in GT. he is going to be able to do this smith chain relatively fast with mirror, hammer. Interesting, he's doing hammer picks first without picking up our bullfrog friend. Yes, this is all dungeons. Can't split GT unless you have the fire rod.
Well, if you feel pretty confident in your in your right side bomb jump strats, it can be done. You know you won't find the fire rod there. You might be looking for the ice rod. Still, with only one item even possible to get over there, it's a bit of an iffy play.
As Senen does have all of his crystals in pocket, he's going to go ahead and turn in the Pyramid Fairy. I would imagine he's going to be doing GT. But it looks like BumRush is going to be the first one heading into GT, so we're going to go ahead and open up the GT Big Key guessing game. 1 through 22, put your guess in the chat once we activate the game. In the chat, I think it's that. There we go. He may do a Turtle Rock dip, but I would imagine if he's locked out in Turtle Rock, he's just gonna go, yep, nope, he's going right to GT. So we're going to be using BumRushBlitz's GT chests no matter what, regardless if he finds the big key here in the first attempt. I'm going to go ahead and stop the game as soon as he enters either left or right-hand side down the stairs. So that way you guys get a little bit more time to put in guesses in the chat. And it looks like Nerf is heading right up the mountain as well. Is he going to do Spike Cave first, or is he going to go ahead and just say, nope, GT it is? Alright, he's going right. I'm going to stop guesses now. Good luck, chat. Let's see if we get a winner here. Check number 1. Check number 2. He's going to go right. It seems as though he's going to go ahead and attempt the bomb jump with the lamp.
Oh, he's pulling out his cape. Yep. It's a tile room play.
Not a bad play here at all. Not a bad play. You need to activate the cape first, and there you go. As Senen is going to go ahead and check Spike Cave, as it looks like Nerf is going to go ahead and enter GT. Very well split here from OOT Dream Team in making sure you cover all of your bases.
And this is... the scoring in this particular co-op mode is based on average time. BumRushBlitz is quite a bit ahead of the TheDaddyGamers right now, so...
Nerf, you need to... Oh, Ice Rod is in Spike Cave. So he's going to go get his Ice Rod. He's going to save and quit, and he's going to go right back up the mountain.
It will be very interesting to see what the TheDaddyGamers does when he gets to that point. If the Cool Rush Gamers have intentionally left that check for later, hoping to find what they need here in GT.
Like I said, you have to be careful of adding in additional mountain checks. If you have to do it, knowing you're going to have to climb the mountain, might as well use that as one big group, save and quit, and make your climb back up. So that means we know that Fire Rod is either in GT or it's in Turtle Rock somewhere. One or the other. So it looks like Senen is electing to go ahead and get the Tempered Sword here? Yes. So it looked like BumRush did not do the bomb jump to go over into the compass room. So Bob's Torch was a number 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 in Dark Magician.
And there's the GT Big Key. in, I believe, the vanilla compass chest.
And that was guest number 9. Congratulations to, let's see here, Lumega83. Congratulations on winning our GT Big Key guessing game. You win yourself some imaginary internet points, which are good for what, Ben?
Absolutely nothing.
Congratulations. We hope to see you a winner in another time. And there's the tempered sword in the hookshot chest here in GT. BumRush realizing, oh wait, yeah, the sword's nice, but fire rod somewhere. As Nerf is going through Turtle Rock here, we're gonna get to see what that Chain Chomp chest is. If it's a key, he can get further in. If it's Fire Rod, he can go right side and complete Turtle Rock, and OOT Dream Team will be in go mode.
Meanwhile, Senen,
The big key.
that sword discovery makes Senen's little trip for a sword upgrade here a bit of a waste.
So Fire Rod is in GT somewhere. Is it up the climb? Is it behind the Armos? Is it on Bob? We don't know. We know it's not right side because it can't be locked behind itself. Get a look here momentarily. Fire Rod's going to be in one of these 4 chests. Could be in the big chest itself. Could be up the GT climb. Let's hope BumRush does not forget to check the big chest.
It's an easy mistake to make.
Yeah,
It
and
has
randomizer.
bit me in the ass in the past.
Yeah, and randomizer, GT Big Chest is one of those chests you never, ever check. As he runs out of arrows here on Armos. Gotta hope for some arrows here in any of the rest of the checks that he has. He's got some mimics to kill. Unless he knows mimic clipping, he's gonna be stuck. As Fighter Sword pokes and slashes take care of that last Armos. Compass, Fire Rod, and bombs.
And the Daddy Gamers heading and finding his ice rod. So both of our teams will know what they need to complete the game.
As BumRush is going to check this big chest here for some arrows. He's hoping beyond hope. It's a bee in a bottle. He's probably going to go get Ice Rod here. At which point he can go on a save and quit and get arrows somewhere.
He could just head over to Turtle Rock. There are arrow refills in there to be had.
Yeah, not a bad play there. So, makes a lot of sense. As Senen and Nerf are both going through GT. Senen doing the tile room, not going to find much at all. We know where the Fire Rod is. We know where the big key's at. Their left side.
Ooh, Nerf opting to peace out and head up the gauntlet, leaving it to Senen to find that Fire Rod.
Ooh, and the Fire Rod is deep in this. Ooh. That is... Ooh. That's gutsy. The climb itself is approximately 4 to 7 minutes, depending upon what equipment you have.
And it's going to take even longer for Senen. Senen is opting to go full right side. Oh, nope, he remembers. Fire Rod can't be here. Mirroring out.
As BumRush is going to take his chance to go ahead and just clear out his pendants by doing Skull Woods first. Gonna end up finishing GT and our Aga Tower at the same time. Not bad. Not bad at all. That arrow miscount, really not gonna hurt him too much. Oh man, and Nerf's gonna be in Helmasaur room by the time Senen's gonna get to that fire rod. And there is no easy way to get over to behind Ice Ormos without that fire rod. Oh no!
Oh no, Senen also... I do not follow the logic behind this play.
You know, Fire Rod is in GT. There is no question about it. OOT Dream Team knows Fire Rod is in GT.
Are they just double or nothing, hoping that it's at the top of the gauntlet and they can shave some time? Are they feeling that behind?
Like, you can defend one of your runners going and making the climb while the other one clears out the rest of the basement, but both of them skipping the basement? Whew, that's a... One, gutsy. Points for that.
With roughly twice the checks between Ice Armos, Big Chest, and Randomizer Room in the basement versus the Gauntlet?
Can it be a very dumb move? Yes, and unfortunately, in this seed, it is.
I mean, in Randomizer, there are no dumb moves, but this is a heck of a gamble.
Yeah, especially in co-op. If you were single-playing the seed, okay. Alright, you could say, alright, I'm gonna take my gamble up the tower. If it's not, I can be here and just do the climb again. But for both of them to elect to skip going to Ice Armos is... That's a tough call. Gutsy. Brave. But a tough call.
Speaking of tough situations, TheDaddyGamers has used... decides, screw it, I'm pulling out my bow. You can see him hesitating using those last couple of arrows, knowing he needs some for the climb.
He also might just elect to leave once getting Fire Rod and clearing out his pendants, which, in this seed, not a bad idea.
Well, it does make for an extra climb.
Yes, but you're not going to have to, once you're done with GT, go do all your pendants. It's a 2-minute sink having to make another mountain climb.
Well, it's a matter of how much time does that mountain climb cost you versus how much time did you just save with those extra, 3 arrow shots? You know you're going to have to switch to that temper to... Okay.
Yeah. And this seed has not been kind with its item placements at all, so it's very, very, very easy to feel a lot of empathy for our runners in this seed. Both rods were in terrible spots. Titan's Mitts was in Swamp, which is not a great place to have it. Our lamp was Skullwoods, which was our only fire source. As it looks like TheDaddyGamers is electing to go ahead and... Yeah, I'm up the mountain. I'm going to go ahead and do Turtle Rock and then head back into GT. Makes a lot of sense. Senen and Nerf have to know that they're going to have to make the GT climb again. They have to know at this point. Or at least check the basement in GT. As we get an AGA 2 fight here from Nerf. And a Moldorm fight from Senen. They are Sans Fire Rod, which is behind the Ice Armos in GT. Both runners from OOT Dream Team elected to skip the Armos and the rest of the basement after finding the big key in the Firebar room. As Cool Rush Gamers, one has completed Skullwoods. They're both in Turtle Rock now. This is all dungeons, so this has to be done. No way around it.
And at this point, the only difference maker left in the game is where might those silvers be? Nerfus, of course, since this is an all-dungeon seed, mirroring out, heading into his Hyrule Castle climb. It's got to be done.
Yeah, interesting they don't save this for a refill before doing Ganon. Now, more than likely, Silver Arrows is somewhere in Turtle Rock. I did not notice if we found our second item in Skullwoods. Could be on Ped, but I think we did a Ped check early. I think it was a Rupee Horde. I could be mistaken, though.
The silvers could even be on the right side of GT Basement, in which case we will almost certainly be seeing a quadfecta of Silverless Ganon fights. Although, with 4 tempered swords in evidence, shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah, and once Nerf and Senen go back in the GT, they're going to be finding their gold swords. The gold sword is ahead of our silver arrows. Or, excuse me, our fire rod. As well. As Turtle Rock is, you can skip Laser Bridge, as we have 2 small keys entering into the Dark Maze. BumRush and DaddyGamers do not need to check Laser Bridge to finish this dungeon. Be interesting to see if either one of them checks it for silver arrows.
That would be a justifiable play at this point, I think. You only have to check it. You only have to spend the time with one runner. But if you get lucky and find it, you get double the advantage.
Yeah, and it looks like BumRush is going to go ahead and check Laser Bridge. He's got half magic. He has invincibility items. This makes perfect sense. He's going to tell DaddyGamers, hey, there's arrows there if you need them. As both the Cool Rush gamers ran out of arrows in GT. We find a shovel on Laser Bridge and an additional small key.
So those silvers could be in Dig Spot. They could be in the lava chest, which I believe both of our left side runners skipped.
As we see an AGA 1 fight from Nerf. There's our first blue ball from our wizard friend.
The DaddyGamers just missing the timing window to prevent that ice floor from coming out in the Trinex fight. But
Our
with that
second blue ball.
and BumRushBlitz having the same problem in a bit of near sync simultaneous left side Trinex fights.
Our third blue ball. Yeah, that ice Trinex head can spit out ice super early or super late. It is RNG as to what time it does spit it out, but there is a window if you are quick enough to go ahead and make sure you don't get that. That's our fourth blue ball. Our fifth blue ball. number 6. As we're gonna get a simultaneous GT climb from the Daddy Gamers and BumRushBlitz as Nerf finishes his 6 blue ball fight with AGA 1. Nerf and Senen are gonna have to go back up the mountain into GT to get the fire rod and clear out Turtle Rock.
BumRushBlitz, likely to be our first finisher here today. He does have Skullwoods done, whereas the Daddy Gamers will have to heading into their pig fight.
Yeah, it's that double GT climb for Senen and Nerf have dug themselves a hole that they're probably not going to be able to dig themselves out of. They're going to need a little bit of unfortunate luck from the Cool Rush Gamers for them to close this gap.
Yes, indeed. At this point, you're playing, just trying to get your execution as tight as possible and hoping that your opposition makes a mistake that you can capitalize on.
As the Daddy Gamers and BumRushBlitz are simply a room between each other. As one enters, one leaves. As Nerf is the first of OOT Dream Team to enter into GT to go to our Ice Armos for a fire rod. Unfortunately, Daddy Gamers and BumRush have a little bit of a lead on them when it comes to the GT climb. If all of our runners enter GT at the same time, I would say this is an equal race, but with Cool Rush Gamers being 2 pendants ahead, essentially, this is their race to lose.
Now, 2 pendants ahead, the AGA 1 climb behind, but that's still a very comfortable lead going into this endgame.
Yeah, half magic fire rod doing an AGA 1 climb is nice to have. As Nerf's going to be picking up his gold sword here from the hookshot chest. I would imagine Senen is going to be picking up that sword. No reason not to. You have the hook shot over to it anyway.
And the question is, will Nerf be able to check that randomizer room in time for Senen to know to skip it?
Looks as though he was able to get over there. He'll tell Senen, hey, no, don't worry about it. Just get that butter sword and head to Ice Armos. As Daddy chucked his bomb a little short of that bombable wall, gets it with the second attempt. He has a magic refill and some fairies coming into this next room. Looking for silvers, it looks like.
Ooh, and Senen stumped. Looks like he forgot to pick up a small key somewhere along the way, having to mirror out.
Yeah, that small key he's looking for is over in that switch room before Moldor.
And Nerf picking up that fire rod and entering go mode.
Definitely going to be a question for OT Dream Team. Should they elect to do interviews after this tough seed?
And I think the fatigue of this difficult seed might be getting to our runners a little bit. Nerfus opting to peace out of the mountain and go head down to Skull Woods, forgetting that he does have Turtle Rock to complete as well.
Yeah, I'm imagining the key that Senen is looking for is on a Helmosaur up the GT climb.
I'm sorry, a Helmosaur?
A small Helmosaur. A baby Helmosaur.
The mini Helma. Could be. I didn't see if he picked up the one under the skull in the hammer room to the left side.
If he didn't pick that one up, that would have been the first place he looked. I'm imagining that's the key he's missing, because they were opening chests, assuming Fire Rod was on the climb.
Well, he definitely didn't pick it up this trip. I didn't see if he picked it up in his previous entrance into GT.
And I don't think there's any more small keys that you can pick up in pots or off of enemies in the lower part of GT.
Senen showing us, or attempting anyway, to show us the way to get this room done with no fire rod. It involves dodging that wallmaster, bomb jumping across the gap, using the lamp on the torch, falling into the hole, those other 3 torches, just as rapid fire as you can. He makes the bomb jump, waits for that wallmaster. He does not want to get 1.0'd this late in the day.
Hopefully he'll find a key. There's at least one coming up here in the room after the compass room.
And hey, we may be about to see... Nope, doesn't bother to stop to check for silvers. He wants this to be over with. And by this point, he knows where he's going. He knows that he needs to go past that Ice Armos. Don't bother turning around the way you came. Just go full right. Meanwhile, DaddyGamers heading into his AGA 1 with BumRushBlitz, a screen behind him.
Yeah, DaddyGamers is going to have to go into Skullwoods when he's done, and then he'll be able to bacon up that pig. BumRush is going to have the fortunate role of doing AGA 1 just before the pig fight, so he's going to get a full refill for that pig fight.
And at this point, if I'm on the Dream Team, I'm eyeing, as this seed narrows in on the 2-hour mark, I'm eyeing that racetime.gg window, wondering when my opposition is going to done, wondering what's going on their side of the screen. And the answer is, this has not been a clean seed for anybody.
Yeah, this seed's been pretty tough. Low percentage cold stare fights. Lamp as your only fire source. Just all around tough seed to do.
Senen looking a little nervous with his one heart fighting that last Armos Knight, but manages to take him out and collect his fire rod. For go mode.
He's gonna mirror here, go into Turtle Rock. Or... Where are you, Senen? Are you checking big chest for silvers? Where are you going? Oh.
He's taking the death warp for a refill.
I like it. Yeah, I could mirror and bonk into some rocks to get some fairies, or use some powder later on in Turtle Rock, but nope, I'm gonna take my death warp. I like it.
Doesn't want any chance of a stray Lionel Bolt putting an end to him today.
I've already done enough mountain climbs.
Yep, I'm good. Daddy Gamers taking a detour to kill him off as BumRushBlitz drops into his Ganon fight.
Alright, he's gonna have a nice quick phase 1 and 2 with that temper. 12 swipes in total, 6 spins in total. Some combination of both. Push him into phase 2. Unfortunately, only gets the 2 cycle here. And bad Ganon positioning, but he's going to use that cape and half magic to go ahead and swipe 12 times on Ganon, push him to phase 3. 4 swipes there as he teleports across the room, and then he will have 12 spins to turn this pig into some pork chops.
Ganon's teleport patterns, of course, are fixed per seed. So BumRush knows he doesn't have to worry about those trolliports. And the arrows were in Turtle Rock. They must have been in that lava chest.
Yeah, they had to be in lava chest.
That's a very rude placement from a very rude seed.
BumRush is going to have to be careful with his magic use. I do believe he has a green magic potion and probably has blue potions as well in his pocket. So he's going to be very liberal here with his fire rod and shooting long distance to light that torch. He did get the torch glitch on first attempt. If you light that left torch just as it goes out, that right one will stay lit for you, and you only have to concern yourself with lighting the left-hand side. Makes spin strats significantly easier.
Yes, indeed. BumRush switching to the lamp, conserving that little bit of magic. Even if he does have those potions to fall back on, that takes time that he'd rather not spend.
As we see Nerf take care of the first phase of Trinex, he's got an Onyx Snake to kill, and then he'll be off to go kill his Ganon pig as well. Get your GG's in chat for BumRushBlitz, coming in first place in this co-op seed for the Cool Rush Gamer with a racetime.gg official time of 1:57:54. Congratulations, BumRushBlitz. His partner not far behind. Daddy Gamers very well ahead of Nerf. Still anybody's race. Should Daddy Gamers fall, or die and fall, this
approximately 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, you never know. You don't wish it upon anyone when it comes to randomizer, but it could happen. As we see that pig placement, Daddy Gamers and Nerf separated only by one single phase. Nerf is not going to be so far behind that. Buttersword makes phase 1 and 2 so easy, cutting the total slashes in half. 6 to 12 for Daddy Gamers. Now that Buttersword is not going to help in phase 3 or 4. It's the same amount of slashes and the same amount of spins, regardless of tempered, or butter sword.
As both of
Senen,
our runners enter our Ganon teleport phase, Nerfus missing a slash and having to
Senen
dodge some Batfire.
Senen using the fake powder to give himself a heart refill, knowing that he has a full magic refill right before Trinex. His Trinex fight is going to be quick with that butter sword, 3 slashes per head, and then 3 slashes to the Onyx Rock Snake. Misses his first fire rod shot on the cold head. Getting a little hecked up by that ice floor. It's the worst. Did he run out of magic? Yeah, he ran out of magic. Does he have potions?
And at this point, he's grasping at straws. Could I have forgotten how this game works? Is there some sort of Ancilla glitch that I can do?
Can I cancel the head in some way? He's gonna have to make the long climb back through GT. Fortunately for Senen, DaddyGamers finishes up his pig fight just ahead of Nerf. GG's in the chat for the DaddyGamers as he finishes with an official racetime.gg time of 2 hours, 1 minute, 1 second. As Nerf finishes up his pig fight, GG's in the chat for Nerf. His official time is at 2 hours, 1 minute, and 19 seconds. And with that, Senen's going to get the bad news that, hey, I ran out of magic on Trinex. I hate the seed. The seed was the worst. And finishes with a did not finish. GG's for Senen for dealing with this seed and his teammate OOT Dream Team with Nerf. Just unfortunate that this seed was none too kind.
I believe we will be joined shortly by BumRushBlitz, TheDaddyGamers, and Senen for our interview segment.
Hello.
GG's, gentlemen. That was a slog. How do you feel?
I feel like whoever rolled this seed needs to stop. Just please, for the love of God, stop.
Yeah.
So really the only question that needs to be asked is for you, Senen. Why? And
Why?
you know
Yes,
what I mean with why, right?
Okay, so entering GT, we split the task. Nef went left and I went right. So I opened the door, that damn door. I opened it, so I spent the key, and then I realized it can't be on the right side because, well, the big key could have been on the right side, but Nef found the big key on the left side, so I knew it couldn't be on the right side.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to enter the room to realize it's the room that requires the fire rod. So yeah, I spent the key there.
But that's not even that's.
Yes,
you guys were both in GT at the same time, and one of you going up the climb, and one of you doing the rest of the basement. In a co-op seed makes a lot of sense.
Yes.
But as soon as you got that big key, you mirrored and went up GT, and your partner was well ahead of you. Why mirror there?
It was really a bad call. Like, if Nef had made more red than me, I would have definitely stuck to the left side. But we felt so behind, and we were in a really bad mental place, and we were just, fuck it. Let's do the upper part. If the fire rod is in the upper part, it's so good. And it was dumb. But yeah, then I also forgot that I would need an extra key, so I didn't get the key on the Almazor. And that was not a good idea at all.
Yeah, we saw as soon as you had to go back into GT to get that fire rod, you were a key short, and we were trying to figure out, well, where's that small keys missing? Oh,
Yeah,
he
it's-
didn't get the one on the Helmosaur. They were checking
Yeah.
all the chests.
Yeah. So yeah, I had to choose between doing upper GT again or doing a small sequence back to please the chat. So I did the sequence back. I'm not sure it was the right thing to do, but at this point, like every choice was bad. So yeah, I just did that. But yeah, it's funny because we felt really far behind when entering GT. Like for us, we had lost for sure. So
In truth, you guys really weren't that far behind in the GT climb.
yeah,
you guys,
yeah, I know
you
that
guys
by now.
found the ice rod first, ironically. You guys had that first. So as soon as
Yeah.
you found fire rod in the basement, you could have mirrored gone to Turtle Rock and then came back to GT. It was just that
Yeah.
that mirror. Once you got the big key, we were like, "What's going on?" We were trying
Yeah.
to go. Are they trying to think that fire rod is elsewhere? They had to
Yeah.
know fire rod was somewhere in GT.
If we had not being like we played really bad for the entire race, so we were not in a good mental place and we took bad decisions.
And this seed was not kind. A low percentage cold stare, master sword in a fire locked Hera chest. That's not. That's not kind at all.
Oh,
Especially since,
there was a sword in Hera.
We never
Yeah.
checked that. Yeah.
In big chest. Oh yeah. Huh.
yeah, with your fire source being lamp in the middle of Skullwoods.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Nerf had that early, and so for a lot of the seed, OOT Dream Team was ahead. So GG to Cool Rush Gamers for kind of making themselves push forward and staying with their game plan going forward in this seed. What was the hardest part of this seed for you guys over at the Cool Rush Gamers side?
Sword cold stare. Well, I'm sorry. What? That fighter sword cold stare fight for me. I took a death there. That felt bad.
Well, I have good news for you. I forget who it was over on OOT Dream Team side, but there was a death on Cold Stare there as well. So, that's my question for you, though, Daddy Gamers. After that death on Cold Stare, you ended up clearing out a little bit more of Ice Palace. What was going on in your decision-making there?
So when I did the climb the second time, you know, typically if you die, you go through a dungeon. You're like, all right, I just got to go. I just have to go. I don't have to collect keys. I don't have to kill bad guys for keys. And when I got to the top, I realized that I never flipped the switch. Because I knew there was nothing in Ice Palace because BumRushBlitz had already done it. So I got to the top. I'm like, oh shoot. I'm like, all right, well, where's the big key? And he's like, oh, I think it's in Ice Tea Room. I'm like, okay, perfect. So I went to Ice Tea Room and it wasn't there. And then I'm thinking, okay, well, where else can I get to? And then I realized, you know what? I think I just have to mirror and reclimb this because I need the big key or I need to flip the switch. And so I had to mirror and do it again and remember to flip the switch.
It's funny. We both had terrible IP because I died. So I knew where were the big key and the small key. So I didn't flip the switch because I knew where the key were, and I think it's faster if you just rush for the door. But when I died and came back, I didn't flip the switch again, and then I arrived just before Cold Stare and realized I didn't have magic for the Somaria block to open the door.
There we saw you run into the long ice hallway to pick up that small magic pot, which
Yeah.
afforded you to put down that Samaria block and get into Cold Stare.
And that's really bad on me because I could have just like magic refill with Somaria or something. I could have done many things, but no.
Alright, well, any other comments you have for this seed at all? Ben, did you have any questions for our runners?
I'm just wondering, with the way that the dark room or dark world access rather shook out early on in the seed, with Dream Team taking a death before finding that moon pearl, and with the hammer hidden away in a Gina cave, were you folks feeling behind early on?
Yeah. We felt behind for the world, for the entire seed, because I did a lot of mistakes early on with failing the bomb escape and dying twice. So yeah, I felt way behind, and then Nephistoss fumbled the airport. Like he just dropped a bomb unintentionally, and he couldn't do airport, so he missed the flute. And we were like, yeah, from that point we felt really behind, and the seed being what it was, like really bad. We were not in the best mental state for the wall seed, which explains why we made bad decisions at the end.
Yeah, I mean, we were pretty rattled there too. I know BumRush pretty much found everything, and I felt like I was playing catch up, and then like that death to Gold Stair just threw me. I started doing Desert Palace without a fire source. I was like, we were talking. It's like, hey, did you do Pyramid Fairy? No. Oh, okay. I'll clear Desert Palace and do Pyramid Fairy. And I get to the back, and it's like, I don't have a fire source. I can't do this.
Yeah, this seed definitely is one of those seeds that if you are a runner, it makes you feel real humble very quick.
Yeah, a lot of the run, like, because we did a lot of divergence, where like DaddyGamers was going to go do Eastern and Pod and stuff, and then I did Thieves Town, and then like, so I immediately found like Mirror and Hookshot. And then he was like, oh, well, I'm going to do this and like do hair and see what's up there. But then that, like, I took that because I was like, oh, Swamp Palace then. And then that was Titan's Mitts. And then everything I had was just kind of leading towards the next item. And then DaddyGamers was trying to go to other places, which makes sense to try and like see where everything is. But it just always boiled down to, well, I need to go get the things that you got. And so like, I kind of got lucky with a lot of the finds that I was always a little ahead. So I was trying to like do some checks that were like more time consuming to like get him more caught up and to see if that was like Fire Rod or Ice Rod, which turned out to be just at the end.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with how we split up actually, because I did Skullwood and Nef went in TT pretty early, but we were in VO at the same time, so we both got the mirror there. So then he did TT, find the hookshot, went to found the flippers, went to small swamp and everything. And since I got the mirror, I just left immediately to do the mountain, get my bow, and go to EP and Pod. So Pod and EP were empty, but yeah, we cleared a lot of things before I had to do catch up with him, just because I got that mirror very early. Without the mirror, we would have probably done the same that you, just playing catch up with Nef finding everything.
All right, well, thank you very much for a very competitive race in a very not kind seed. BumRushBlitz, Senen, and DaddyGamers. Congratulations to your team, BumRush and Daddy. You guys ended up sweeping this week. Anything you guys are looking forward to going forward in this season?
I'm just excited to race more.
Yeah, excited to race more, and I know he's probably not, but I'm really looking forward to the all dungeon. Is it all dungeon key sanity or just regular key sanity info share where with the co-pilot?
Oh yeah, I'm excited for that one too.
Yeah, I know it stresses Cool Papa Bell out,
but he's a really good
great pilot.
Yeah,
and I'm really looking forward to racing with him piloting me. We did really well in that category last year, and I'm really looking forward to it again this year.
Yeah, the co-op matches are a lot of fun. Like we lost our 2 co-op seeds so far, so we are not great at it with my team, but I really like the co-op format in the league. So co-op info share or the spoiler log thing. So I'm looking forward to both of those. And yeah.
All right, well, good luck to you guys in the future. Good luck racing, all that fun jazz. Remember, you can follow all of the runners in today's race by hitting the !R command inside of Twitch chat. That will give you links to each of our runners' Twitch pages. You can do the same for your commentating, your restream, and your wonderful tracking team. I want to thank Mindful Beast and 2C Plus for doing the most thankless job in randomizer broadcasting, the tracking. Remember, there's still matchups going forward all throughout the weekend here on the ALTTPR League channel and Speed Gaming Network that has the Invitational League. If you want to see super high-end Link to the Past randomizer running, that's where you want to check it out, either here or on that Speed Gaming Network channels. Ben, any last comments or questions for our runners?
Nope, just thanks once again for putting on a great show, and I will look forward to seeing you in the future.
Thanks, guys. GG. Thanks for the restream.
Thanks, GG's.
All right, our next race here on ALTTPR League is going to be at 5:10 Eastern between the Guardians of the Galaxy Brain and Zelda's Chocobo Squad. Make sure you check that out. And later
correction, the next one will actually be this 5:40. It looks like the 5:10 had to be canceled.
All right, well, the next one's going to be Hyrule Track and Field versus the Long Shots on ALTTPR League 2. That is between Tabby Cat and Mr. Scruff Ninja, and Arista and Tim P. So make sure you check that out. That's going to be coming up here in about 2.5 hours. Thank you very much for joining us for this broadcast of Link to the Past Randomizer Open League here on the ALTTPR League channel.